everyone calls her the best character. Fierce, loyal, funny, relatable. The mom who would burn the school down for her kid. The friend who always shows up. The woman who cares. But what if Madeleine isn't the heart of the show? What if she is the emotional manipulator in disguise, hiding in plain sight? Big Little Lies didn't just show us abuse in relationships, it showed us how manipulation can wear a pretty face, how narcissists can smile, cry, apologize, and still twist everyone around them, including the audience. This isn't a story about a complicated woman with a big heart. This is the story of a covert narcissist who uses everyone, her friends, her husband, and even her children to feed a self-image that cannot tolerate accountability. Madeleine is proof that covert narcissism can be charming. She doesn't dominate the rooms through fear, she dominates them through her personality. She's quick with a joke, quick with affection, and just as quick to turn cold when she doesn't get her way. And that's where the narcissism peeks through. Her emotional intensity is not love, it's control, and her love for control. And like many covert narcissists, Madeleine performs vulnerability not to connect, but to manipulate. She weaponizes her likability, she uses chaos to stay relevant, and plays the victim the moment she is held accountable. Psychologists define covert narcissism as a subtype of narcissistic personality marked by hypersensitivity, resentment, and a constant need for validation hidden under passive aggression and charm. And that's exactly what Madeleine does. She hides behind her size, her humor, and her big heart. There is one scene in season 1 where she breaks down crying in the car with Ed, saying, I'm trying to be everything for everyone. It is framed as vulnerability and it can be relatable to people who are actually empathetic, but in her case, it functions as damage control. This is a common feature of narcissistic supply maintenance, where expressions of fragility are deployed strategically to avoid criticism. But if you look closer, what you see is performance. Madeleine uses her children to maintain her image. Her entire identity revolves around being the good mom. But when you watch closely, she is rarely emotionally available to her daughters. She ignores Chloe's maturity, expecting a child to emotionally regulate for her. She performs protectiveness, but fails to listen. And in one of the most disturbing moments of the show, she offloads her affair onto her teenage daughter, Abigail, under the disguise of connecting. But what she's really doing is seeking validation. And the way she phrases it is so deceiving too. She says, you know, sometimes married people make mistakes. I just didn't want to lie to you. This phrase could be real and honest and vulnerable from a parent to a child, but the moment she decides to deliver this is very selective, and it just shows that she is making everything about herself. This is textbook emotional enmeshment, where a parent treats the child as an emotional confidant, robbing them of boundaries, safety, and psychological autonomy. She doesn't show up for her kids because she sees them. She shows up because they reflect her. They mirror her. They are props to her. They are symbols. They are little extensions of her ego. This echoes the psychoanalytic concept of narcissistic extension, where the parent sees the child not as a separate person, but as a reflection of their own worth. Even her activism at the school, like organizing Avenue Q, feels more about image rather than impact. Because if she's fighting for something, she can't be questioned, or so she thinks. And Madeleine's relationships are defined by one specific thing: conditional loyalty. She only loves people who love her first. and she only stays soft if she knows you're in her corner. She cheats on her husband and then outright blames his emotional distance. She emotionally toys with her ex Joseph while playing innocent. And later, when he is physically assaulted by her husband, she conveniently forgets her role in the escalation. And when she's confronted, she doesn't reflect, she deflects, which is very typical of narcissistic individuals. Self-reflection is necessary, and when people consistently avoid it, that's a red flag. And Madeleine's version of love is transactional. Her friendship with Celeste is loyal, yes, but also saturated with superiority. Her protectiveness of Jane is real, but it's also performative because it keeps her in the center of the moral story. And these are classic manipulative tactics, including triangulation, guilt tripping, and martyrdom, which are often used to destabilize others while preserving control. And when it works, she doesn't grow from it, she doubles down. And what's interesting about this character is how the media fell for it, and the audience too, really. When the show aired, Madeleine was immediately branded as the best character, smart, funny, strong, a breath of fresh air. But that's part of the point. We are conditioned to interpret female strength as a virtue, especially when it comes with likability. Madeleine looks like a good friend, so we excuse the manipulation. She looks like a good mother, so we ignore the emotional negligence. She says she cares, so we believe her, even when her actions show the opposite. And this aligns with the psychological concept of halo effect, where one's positive trait, like charm or humor, colors our perception of all the other traits, including the moral ones. And what we can learn from Madeleine, if we are willing to look beyond her pretty face, is that manipulation doesn't always come wrapped in cruelty, and sometimes it also comes wrapped in empathy. Madeleine is not misunderstood, she is misdiagnosed. She's not a complex woman with a fierce heart, she's a covert narcissist who wraps control in charm. And she manipulates everyone around her until the very end of the show and beyond it. And that is the real power of Madeleine in Big Little Lies, is how it shows us the stories we want to believe in, even when the truth is right in front of us. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope it gave you some food for thought. And if you haven't watched the show, maybe it has intrigued you to actually watch it, which I recommend if you want to look at it through this analytical view as well and confirm what I have mentioned here in the video. You don't have to agree with me. I am open for discussion, and I will see you on the next video. Bye.